I hear from HR professionals all the time about some of the challenges they face in trying to implement diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. And one of the reasons these initiatives fail is because there is a tendency to focus on diversity while ignoring the equity and inclusion pieces. In other words, there is an assumption that once you achieve the numerical benchmarks you set out to achieve, which is the diversity piece, you think you're done. Nothing could be further from the truth. Hi, I am Louisa Drescher, CEO of Mastering Cultural Differences and a diversity, equity, and inclusion researcher, writer, and facilitator. I work with HR professionals like you, and I help them develop success strategies so they can create diverse, equitable, and truly inclusive organizations. In the last video, we went over diversity and why it is so important to the success of an organization in today's increasingly diverse markets. In this video, I will cover the other two pieces of the triad, so to speak: equity and inclusion. Well, diversity means the presence of different identities within the organization, such as race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, parental status, and many other aspects. Equity refers to all the practices and policies you put in place to make sure everyone has access to the same opportunities. Equity recognizes that barriers exist and not everyone is starting from the same place. Equity is a commitment from the organization to address the inequities or disadvantages that may be in place in the organization. Let me give you an example. I studied of hiring processes in the United States, found that candidates with white-sounding names, let's say William or Elizabeth, were 50% more likely to receive a call back than equally qualified candidates with African American sounding names, such as Latasha or Jamal. Clearly, having a white sounding name is an advantage over having a black sounding name. This study also showed how biased the hiring process can be, and most of the time, those in the hiring committee are not even aware that this is taking place. So, the solution is to ensure you have an equitable and bias-free hiring process. And the hiring process is just one of the many aspects within the organization that you need to make sure is equitable. It is important that you look at all your practices and policies to ensure there are no inequities. For example, you need to look at how individuals are being promoted. Who has access to professional development opportunities? Are organization resources being distributed equitably? Do you have an equal pay policy? And much, much more. Please note that inequitable practices will hurt your diversity efforts. So, diversity is the presence of different identities in the organization. Equity refers to all the processes you put in place to ensure all individuals, regardless of their identity, have access to the same opportunities. What about inclusion? Inclusion is making sure all individuals feel welcomed, valued, respected, and can contribute their fullest to the organization. An inclusive organization is productive because individuals respect each other's differences and value all contributions. It is a place that celebrates differences. It is a place where individuals are not expected to give up who they are or leave significant parts of their identity behind in order to be productive. Please note that you can have a diverse organization, but that doesn't mean that everyone feels welcomed, valued, and that they belong. In other words, inclusion is not a natural consequence of diversity. You can spend millions of dollars bringing diversity in, but if your practices are not equitable and the culture of the organization is not inclusive, individuals will not stick around. It is as simple as that. So here are some things you can do in order to create a more inclusive organization. Do you know how individuals are experiencing your organization, especially those who are traditionally underrepresented? What are you putting in place to ensure that women, gender non-conforming employees, and people of color feel included in the workplace? Are they facing any barriers? Do they feel they belong? Can these individuals bring their whole selves to work? In closing, diversity, equity, and inclusion are different concepts, but they are also interconnected. Diversity efforts without equitable practices and strategies to create an inclusive environment will always fall short. I hope this short video helped. And if you missed the first one, I would encourage you to go back and watch it. As my gift to you, you can download a free PDF with a summary of these 3 concepts and specific strategies for managing a culturally diverse organization. Just click on the link below. And remember, differences are never a problem once you master them.